Hi friends, it's me Ali, your fancy friend in Montreal, and today we're talking about a new eyeshadow collection from YSL Beauty. They just launched these not that long ago. We're going to do some swatch comparisons, a couple of tutorials. I'm going to go ahead and provide some timestamps down below so you can go ahead and skip around. That's today's video, but before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So as luck would have it, last week I was invited to this event at Holt Renfrew for YSL. They rented one of the suites and did a presentation on Yves Saint Laurent, YSL Beauty, the perfumes, the heritage, the brand heritage, and at the same time they had a new collection out. So it was all good, perfect timing for me. And I was able to attend and test out some new products, and then I'm going to talk to you about them. So this new collection here, it's a bit confusing because it seems to be way ahead of time. Allegedly, according to some sources, this is perhaps the fall collection, and listen, no, merci, this cannot be. Perhaps it is. I'm refusing to accept this as the fall collection. Maybe it will be later on. We will revisit this, but from what I gather, this is in fact inspired by Morocco because Yves Saint Laurent, the namesake of the brand, was actually born in Algeria, but he loved Morocco. Maybe he would have loved me. I'm half Moroccan. And this entire eyeshadow palette series is inspired by the landscapes of Morocco. There are 4 quads available in this series, and from what I gather, they're permanent. They're not limited edition. Thank you. I hate that limited edition rush we feel. No merci. So the first 2 I skipped. The first one is 820 Majestic Riad. I'm just not into very dark, warm red eyeshadows. You may know this about me. This one is available. It just is not to my taste. The second one, 730, Sunrise Safari. Also not to my taste personally, but I think that this one here has potential to be very popular. These softer peachy pinks are very flattering on a lot of different people. And I think for certain people, this is going to be the perfect user-friendly palette. I picked up 2 of the quads. Of course I did. I wasn't planning on it, but then when you're at the counter and you're swatching things and you see the colors for yourself, I swear it's more tempting than shopping online. And these products come in these gorgeous gold cases with this beautiful black and gold embellishment. It feels very luxurious. It feels quite nice. The first palette that I picked up is 830 Unexplored Gardens. And this is actually quite lovely. It's a lighter, softer take on a khaki palette. It's a little bit more olive and a bit lighter. Sometimes I find that green palettes on me turn very dark, a little bit muddy, too brown. This one here is a little bit lightened, not to give you too many spoilers. And the next one is 720 Captivating Dunes. This one, Captivating Dunes, when I saw promo photos, I was quite certain I would pick it up because I am a sucker for neutral, cool leaning palettes. This is a color story that we are greatly lacking in the luxury eyeshadow world. I don't know why everyone wants to do warm reds right now, but not YSL Beauty. I'm going to include some swatch comparisons now, and fun fact, I actually filmed this video previously, but I had technical issues, so I'm doing it again, but I'm reusing the swatch component that I filmed already. The top shade here is actually quite nice. I was worried that this shade here would feel like a topper. You know the Tom Ford topper shadows, they sometimes feel a bit grainy and gritty. This one actually feels quite buttery and smooth. It's very impressive. And then you get 2 matte colors. These are like a creamy, buttery matte, and then you get a classic satin. So for the Unexplored Gardens palette, the first eyeshadow that I swatched is from Chanel, one of the single eyeshadows, Ombre Essentiel, because this one here is a light green, and I was just curious how it would look next to the topper shade. Not really the same. I think that the one from Chanel feels and looks a bit smoother, a little bit less of a glitter finish, but I don't think that there are any perfect dupes in today's video, just some comparisons, which is helpful if you are shopping online. Next up is Blurry Green, also from Chanel. This one was quite popular years ago, so I thought maybe a lot of people would have both of these. I don't think that there is anything in Blurry Green that's quite a dupe. I think the lighter matte from the YSL Quad could look similar to the lighter color from Blurry Green, but again, not a perfect dupe. I then thought of Jungle from Christian Dior. This is a beautiful green khaki palette, but this one here, again, there are no dupes. It's more just to give you a reference, like a cheat sheet, if you will, for you guys at home. And again, I think the slightly beige, taupey, matte color from Jungle looks like a cousin to one of the mattes from YSL, and that's about it. Moving on to Captivating Dunes. This is a topper, but it's so much better than a Tom Ford topper. You get your two mattes and then a beautiful satin. The topper of Captivating Dunes is blinding. It is so beautiful. It is so intense. It's buttery. It's just a high shine sparkle. I mean, it's sparkle, but it doesn't feel sparkly. It doesn't feel like a chunky glitter. It's just really lovely. And I had a couple of you message me on Instagram and give me some recommendations or suggestions for swatch comparisons. The first thing someone mentioned was Soft Cashmere, again from Christian Dior, which makes sense because this is a perfect neutral leaning palette. Again, I think some of the tones for the more matte shades from YSL might be similar. I think if you like one, you're going to love the other, but nothing here is a perfect dupe. And then last but not least, I have Éclat de Nuit, which came out from Chanel a couple years ago. It's like a twist on a smoky eye. This one here, I think, has slight similarity again with the mattes, but I do have to say that the mattes from YSL feel more buttery and creamy and smooth than from Chanel. I think just the tone might be similar. If you like one, you're going to love the other. So these were the swatch comparisons that I could think of. One thing that I did notice when playing with these palettes earlier is that these are a very soft texture. They're very creamy and buttery when you're swatching them, and also when you're applying them. They're very easy to apply, but something about the formula is soft. So just be mindful, because if you just take your brush and go like this, you're going to have a little bit of fallout. That is something that I noticed. I'm going to go ahead and do two looks. I'm going to do one look with one palette and one look with the other palette. If you're new to my channel, I do lots of reviews and lots of tutorials, and I'm quite notorious for using and reusing my collections, mixing them and matching them with previous ones. So I'm going to use these a lot in the coming weeks and months. I highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to show you how to use both of these with collections you already own. And the brushes, everything that I'm mentioning today, they're all listed in the affiliate links down below. Also, when I bought these at Holt Renfrew, these are 80 Canadian plus tax, a nice luxury price point. And I shopped with Tamika. She is the business manager for YSL. If you live in the Montreal region and would like her contact, I'm going to go ahead and put her contact info in the description box as well. All of that blah, blah, blah out the way. Let's go ahead. Just going to start with this color here with a big fluffy brush. I have to choose which eye. This shade is like my skin tone, a little bit deeper and a whisper of olive. I'm just going to pass a little bit under the lashes like this. And I am in fact wearing the Hourglass eyeshadow primer. I have hooded and oily eyelids, so I always wear an eyeshadow primer for every review. Even if I'm not even wearing that much eyeshadow, I put some on, otherwise it just turns into a mess. Let's use a tapered brush and go into this color here. So this color has the potential to get quite dark. We can go in lightly to create something just lighter and more everyday, but I've noticed that the darker matte shade is something that you can play with. I'm just going to blend this out with a separate brush, and I dipped into this lighter color just to soften this. All of the shades blend well together. They all play well together and with other products. That is like a blessing in disguise when you have to refilm something. It gives you even more experience with the product. Now for what I consider the showstoppers, something about the formula for the satin and especially the topper shades. This topper shade, I cannot wait to wear it this summer because it looks like this iridescent holographic multi-shift shadow. I would wear, if I was wearing just this, I would wear tons of the topper on the lid with a lot of mascara. I think that's a beautiful look. But we're going to go into a flat brush and we're going to pick up a bunch of this satin color here. I really wasn't going to pick up the green khaki palette, but then swatching it at the counter, something about this just looks so magical. It's green, but it's light. It's not too dark. It has a little bit of a slight gold shift in it. It's a really pretty satin. I am noticing a little bit of fallout here. I always do my eyes first, specifically because I'm trying to avoid fallout mess. But I'm just letting you know, I'm noticing it a little bit as I'm going. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my pinky here and I'm going to pack it here. Oh, it's so pretty. It's very green, but light green. It's not necessarily like a dark mossy green. We have this here for a darker green. This, honestly, the topper shade is what convinced me, and I think it's so lovely. All right, let's move on to the other eye. I'm probably going to do something similar. I'm going to use a big fluffy brush like this and go into this one here. This shade is my skin but better, a little bit deeper and more cool toned. Let's go into this color here. Maybe I'll try something slightly different, but I will use all 4 shades just to show you the palette. So again, the darker matte is very intense. You could easily create a very dark look, or if you just go in lightly and then go back into the first brush with a little bit more of that lighter color, you can soften it just a little bit. Now going into the beautiful satin color here, let's just pick this up. And there is a little bit of fallout on this side here. I think there's maybe a little bit more fallout on this side here. Could be because I used a little bit more of the deeper color. And then I'm going to use this topper shade here, just in the corner. All right, I think this is starting to look a little bit more fully cooked. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please vote. Which which palette do you prefer? Do you prefer Unexplored Gardens or Captivating Dunes? I think they're both very pretty. I think that the greens in Unexplored Garden are so lovely. And it's just nice to have a khaki olive green that isn't too dark or muddy. That being said, Captivating Dunes, for me, is a user-friendly workhorse palette. Like I see myself so much here, but then I also see myself with those beautiful greens because I do love color. I'm very happy with both of these, but I would love to hear from you. Which one would you like me to reuse next up? Also, I went ahead and I bought one of the bronzers as well. I bought the bronzer in shade number 3, and I'm wearing some of that. If you would like to see me apply this bronzer on camera, leave a comment down below. So final thoughts. I think these palettes are great. I think the formula is really nice. I think there is, for me, there was a little bit of a learning curve with the formula because they're so soft. I think that's why I had a little bit of fallout at first. I was used to a little bit of the harder eyeshadows from Chanel, but the ones from YSL are so creamy and buttery and soft, and they blend and wear and apply like a dream. They're fantastic. I don't know what took me so long to get into more YSL Beauty. I've been more into their lip products, their mascaras, but I'm glad I finally have tried these eyeshadows. I think they're great. Unfortunately, they're quite pricey, but I think they're fantastic. I think that's about it. I don't think I forgot anything. I'm sure I will remember afterwards if I did. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.